The tradition of portrait miniature painting begins in the 16th century. The tradition then spans right the way through to the invention of photography in 1839. So it's 400 years of history. Rather than large-scale oil paintings, portrait miniatures served a different purpose. They were meant to be held close. You would go and contemplate a portrait miniature, in private perhaps. People are fascinated in this art form because they offer windows into the world that has now long departed. The collection was formed by Dr Erika Pohl-Ströher, daughter of the founders of the Wella cosmetics firm. She collected over 1,800 individual portrait miniatures in her lifetime. The collection must be one of the most important ever assembled. Not only is it extraordinary in terms of its scope, but in terms of its quality. This work here is one of the earliest in the entire collection. It was painted by Nicholas Hilliard, who was the greatest Elizabethan portrait miniaturist. It's something which is incredibly precious to us today, a survival from Elizabethan England in superb condition, and something which sums up that extraordinarily romantic period. The reason I love this portrait miniature is it couldn't be more of a sensitive depiction of an elderly man. And there's a real sense that the sitter is actually thinking and reading. One can almost imagine that he's about to look up from his book and start talking to us. This work here by Louis van Blarenberghe is just such great fun. Van Blarenberghe, on a really small scale, has given us, the viewer, a sumptuous image full of detail and delight. I mean, it is quite extraordinary to think that an artist can create all that detail and atmosphere on such a small picture plane. In the 18th century, still lifes on this scale became quite popular, and this work by Christian van Poel is a spectacular example. The artist works with body colour and watercolour. It is exquisitely painted. Every single detail is there for us to see. There's a sense of real observation of nature. This work here is one of my absolute favourite from the collection. The miniature is inserted into the inside of this exquisite box made of tortoiseshell. There's a great sense of movement and life. It seems as though the sitter is about to raise the flute to her lips and start playing a tune. It is the most glorious object, and it would have been something which would have been held and kept close to its original owner. These next two works take us to the late 18th century and a British artist, John Smart. The photorealism of John Smart's technique is exceptional, but more than simply a photograph, he does achieve a sense of personality, and I think that's terribly important. One of the greatest artists from that period was Samuel Cooper. Cooper uses the paint in a free manner, which really gives his sitters life. One can't help feeling this extraordinary sense that we've got somebody here who's living and breathing. We're looking right back in time to the mid-17th century. Seen together, these portraits provide a window onto 400 years of European history, including images of rulers, courtiers, and private citizens. Dr Erika Pohl-Ströher will go down as one of the greatest collectors of portrait miniatures that the world has ever seen. This sale, and the two which will follow in 2019, do offer an extraordinary opportunity for collectors of today.